Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name's Jacob and today I have a very exciting unboxing for you guys. It's exciting not just because of the figure that we have in here, but because this, as far as I'm aware, is the first actual video unboxing or review of this thing, at least as far as I can find on YouTube. Now the fact that I happen to be the one bringing you this very early review is almost a complete fluke because, for starters, I'm of course more of a Godzilla collector, as you guys can plainly see and as many of you are probably familiar with. But, as some of you may be familiar with, I've had a little bit of a side quest going on collecting-wise, which is I've always been on the lookout for a really decent and screen-accurate version of the original Jurassic Park T-Rex, or Rexy, from the original film. To give you guys some context, I haven't really been focusing on the Mattel Jurassic World line of figures very much. I've been going into a bunch of Kmart stores here in Australia, basically just looking for the Playmates Godzilla figures that they've been putting out. My eye would always glance over at some of the Jurassic World figures and be like, you know what? I kind of dig that. I'm not going to get any of them because if I start collecting a bunch of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park figures, then I will literally have no room to breathe anymore. But I would always look over at the T-Rex figures, especially because I'm a big fan of, again, Rexy from Jurassic Park, and be like, ooh, I kind of want that. Recently, I did go to see Jurassic World Dominion. I was really in a very Jurassic Park, Jurassic World sort of mood, and when I went to Kmart recently, I actually found this guy here, which was one of the brand new Jurassic World Dominion T-Rex figures. This is the Thrash and Devour figure, and I decided to pick this one up. I went Googling for some reviews of that thing, and I basically stumbled upon the information that this figure exists. So I didn't really know that this collection, this Hammond Collection line, was a thing until basically the day that I ordered this. And I ordered it, and a few days later it arrived. It's here now, and when I went searching online for reviews of this thing, they didn't seem to have any anywhere. No like video reviews, so that was really bizarre to me, and it seems to me that these things are coming out first here in Australia, and they seem to be only sold in Big W, which is a retail store we have here, and only online. They don't seem to have them like physically in store. Let's talk about this actual figure while I actually start unboxing the actual box here. So this is the Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex figure, and it's the Jurassic Park T-Rex from the first film. It's not a Jurassic World T-Rex apparently, and it's, you know, it's a Mattel figure. It's in that line, but it's meant to be the collector's version of that figure. It's meant to be the better version. So we'll see how it compares to this guy here. Actually, I'm really excited. I'm actually thinking I might keep this unboxing pretty brief, and I'll probably film slightly better a review of this thing maybe tomorrow when I got some natural lighting. So we'll see how that goes, but I definitely want to give you guys a good look at this thing first. So, oh, there it is. Oh my god. Yes. Okay. It's real. It's here. Let's put that to the side. There she is. The Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex. So, like I was saying, this is the collector's version of this figure. The Hammond Collection is basically the Mattel Jurassic World, Jurassic Park line, but they have better sculpt, better paintwork. They're still a little bit more toy-like than I would perhaps like for these things to be, but they're in a good middle ground, I guess, between like these things and, say, something like this, which is like just a full-on statue. This is the Nanmu T-Rex, which is so far my best T-Rex figure in my collection, or the most accurate, the most detailed, the one I like the most. But I'll talk about that all later and probably in more depth in my next video. That looks cool. I can already see through the packaging this thing has a clear plastic eye, so we got this yellow plastic for the eye, which is really cool. the paintwork and the detailing I can already see looks nice. This is very exciting. I like the box. Nice big cardboard box, but definitely smaller than these sort of things. And I like this engraved detail in it. It's kind of glossed over as well. We got the nice amber of little John Hammond silhouette. Really cool. Nice. On the side of the box, nice front-on image of our T-Rex. The Jurassic Park logo. Note that it's the Jurassic Park logo, not the Jurassic World logo. Although I will admit, this new one, the Jurassic World Dominion logo with the amber color, is actually pretty sweet. There we go. This one's quite sensitive, the little little electronic gimmick with it. So it always seems to roar whenever I poke it, but there we go. There we go, that looks good. Jurassic Park logo, nice image on the box. Some tape there. The back of the box, we have our figure. The background's matte, but the actual picture of the figure itself has some gloss on it to help it sort of pop out. I really like it when they do that with boxes. And then we have a little scene from Jurassic Park with our T-Rex there. And says, Tyrannosaurus Rex with epic power and colossal force. This Tyrannosaurus Rex is the ultimate carnivore when dinosaurs ruled the earth. Very nice. And a Jurassic World website there. Something from Mattel. Empowering the next generation through play. Jurassic Park. Hammond Collection. Good stuff. And yeah, nice image of the figure there. Looking very fierce. I love that. And I think I already showed you guys that side there. Just Hammond Collection logo. Anything on the bottom. Just some writing, which if it will go in focus, I don't know if you guys can read that, but if you can, good. And we got the T-Rex embossed, sort of, not embossed, it's just glossed little image of the skeleton up there, which is really nice. Alright, let's open this up. I'm super hyped to actually see her in person. I'm very, very particular about my Jurassic Park T-Rexes. I don't know why, even though I've got some really good ones, like even this, the Nanmu one here. As you can see, I have the original Papo T-Rex here. This for a long time was the best sort of third-party T-Rex figure out there to be this sort of stand-in for Rexy. I got the, this one here, which is the Reborn Killer Queen. Really good, but she has problems standing as well and is sort of not as accurate as I'd like as well. And I also have the W Dragon, which I don't have here right now, which is the one I kind of forgot to bring in. And I love all of them, but I'm just not fully happy with any of them yet. And, you know, the Mattel stuff has been looking really cool, but, you know, it's just been very toy-like. So when I found out that this one existed, it just seemed like the perfect thing, and the timing is so perfect. I don't know how it all worked out, but regardless, I'm really happy about it. Pulling her out, oh, already looking really nice. She comes in this little box here with twine holding her in. That's new. The rest of the stuff is held in with plastic, but there's actual like rope twine on her feet here holding her in. And she's just in this nice little orangey backdrop. Fits very well with our Jurassic Park theme, actually. So I dig that. Really cool. And those eyes. Oh, they follow you around the room as well. That's neat. Okay. We're gonna have to take this apart and assemble her. There she is. Look at that. Now, of course, my lighting is a little bit harsh today because I'm just using a lamp. I might have sort of better lighting when I do my next video, hopefully. It might not be better. It'll just be different, I guess, but I prefer it. Oh, and the movement. I like that. It's not quite SH Monster Arts movement. More like maybe a NECA figure style movement, but it's definitely a lot more articulation in there than your typical Mattel figure, so that's cool. Movement in the tongue, the mouth with the rubber, like actual rubber folds here. Those probably have a scientific name. I'm not aware of it, whatever it is, even though, you know, when I was little I pretty much knew every paleontological term, but I never really knew what that specific part was, but wow. And we got her tail stump here. Let's just put her tail in and then we'll get a proper look at her. So this just seems to have a little peg on the end of it. I'm assuming get it right so it's the right side up. There we go. Neat. So the tail end appears to be a more rubbery material. I wonder if it has a bendy wire or something in there. I mean, I don't want to force it too much, but I don't really care. I'm probably not even going to articulate the tail too much, but there's a bit of articulation right there and a little bit at this bit here. So you can get a nice sweep there, and there might be a little bit of give in this tail here. It's fairly rubbery, but also fairly firm. And wow, the paintwork on this one definitely looks better than the promo images, I would say. I was a little iffy about the promo images. I thought the paintwork might have been a little too, how do I put it? Just a little bit too contrasty. But in person, it kind of blends together really nicely, and it looks very reminiscent of how Rexy looked in the original film. Rexy or Roberta, I think, was the two names kind of given to this T-Rex. Even just looking at the promo images of this one here, I did have some minor gripes already with the promo images, but they're things that I've had issue with the regular Mattel figures anyway. The feet primarily are the main issue. They look way too big for a Rex like this. Like if again we bring in something like the Nanmu figure, a very, very well proportioned, beautiful figure. You can see the feet on this one much more better proportioned, I'd say, than these massive ones here, even though this figure is really big. And the teeth on this one are also very blunt. They have that sort of semi-sharp sculpt, which is just typical of your normal sort of Mattel T-Rex figure in this toy line. Which is a shame, because you'd think if you're getting the Hammond Collection one, they could have easily changed little details like the teeth, make them a bit sharper. I mean, at this point, this is a collector's item and not really a children's toy, so that would make a bit more sense. Regardless, this thing is really cool. Really, really reminiscent of the Jurassic Park T-Rex. Very nice. And she has articulated legs as well. So I feel like these are probably, are these ratchet joints? They have a bit of give to them, but I feel nervous about articulating them back and forth because they're almost not. So I'm kind of scared to move these. But let's try the knee here. Okay, that's nice. A nice firm joint there. Firm joint at the knee. And we got some articulation here. The spins. Very good. I like that the knee here is double jointed as well, so that gives us a nice range. And there's also a joint at the foot here, which I think can also spin, so we can get a good stable pose out of this thing. Oh, and under her feet, there's detailing, but there's also a little Jurassic Park logo right there. So there is some give in these legs here. It was almost stuck before I actually moved it, and it felt like it was a ratcheting joint, but it feels like it's just, I don't know, is it? No, it's not a ratcheting joint, but it does sort of click in one spot, and the rest it kind of smoothly articulates around. So that's an interesting choice for those joints, but they do work nicely. You can get her in all sorts of poses. I actually found out that since she's got a nice bit of articulation here in the body, you can actually get her positioned in a slightly more old school T-Rex stance, standing up, yeah, quite tall, looking really intimidating, so I do like that. Nice. Haha, very cool. So let's just take a nice good look at her face here. You can see the first thing that's really striking is those eyes. And they are done in a clear yellowy plastic, and they have depth to them, and the pupil is like on the back of the eye, so when you move it around it looks like her eye is following you, which is a really cool addition to this figure. I think the pupil might be a little bit too far back for my liking, so it almost sort of disappears when you have her at these angles like here. If it was a little more shallow, just a bit, the effect I think would work a little bit better. But regardless, I'm not complaining because that's a really cool addition that I was not expecting on a figure like this until, of course, I discovered this thing existed. Some lighter dry brushing across this area here, which it's good to see a little paint variation, but it looks a little smeared on in some spots, and I noticed that in some of the other promo images of this thing. It's not the nicest sort of dry brushing, but it's good that it's there as opposed to not. Of course, we got some nice dark areas around the top lip here, which I don't know if it's a little too dark, but regardless, it's a bit of good paint variation. It's airbrushed on really nicely, I think. There's some nice speckling as well, which is very important for T-Rex like this. The teeth are done in a nice off-bone color, and the inside of the mouth is this nice beige, pinkish color, and the tongue is even rubber. That's really cool. It's rubber and slightly glossy in there, and we have these flaps. So you can see there, these are just soft rubber, so that's really interesting. I hope that holds up, because rubber on figures does tend to age a bit quicker than your hard plastic, but it's nice that that is there to really differentiate this figure from some of the other Rexes. And that does look really cool, really convincing. One thing I think this figure is missing is a little black paint. I think in the nostrils would have done wonders to put a little bit more depth in there. It's an issue I have with some other T-Rex figures over the years that I've noticed, that they tend to omit that little detail, which admittedly it is a very small detail, but it's something I would have liked to have seen on a figure of this caliber. The face is done very well. I should have also added sculpt-wise. Looks really close to that original T-Rex design. The proportions are really nice. Good jaw. I think the only thing that kind of bothers me a little bit when you open the mouth, though, I feel like the chin sinks back a little far, whereas the top of her snout kind of sticks out a little bit, so she has a bit of an overbite when she's got her mouth open, and looks a little unnatural, at least to me. But when you close her mouth, it sits really nicely. Anyway, back to the neck. Got some of those nice striping there. More of that airbrushing. In person, I feel like the paint looks a lot nicer than you're seeing it here, because, again, I got quite a harsh light beaming down on it. But in natural light, it's got just the right amount of detail with these like darker areas here, but doesn't stand out too much, so it does look quite convincing. One thing I heard when I was doing research about painting a T-Rex, because I actually had like a knockoff model kit of this Rex back in the day that I was working on for ages and painting it up. I think it was a knockoff of the original maquette they had from the Jurassic Park film. One of the main influences they had for the paintwork on the Jurassic Park T-Rex is a unripe banana. So like that brown speckled skin you'd see on like a rotting banana. That's kind of what they were going for with this coloring on the original Rex. And doesn't that look great? Really good attention to the paintwork there. Definitely a lot more detail than your typical Mattel Rex. And look at the detailing right there of all this scaling and the skin folds here. Looks very cool, really accurate to the film. I think perhaps the T-Rex might have been a little bit smoother in the film than it is here. It's hard to say, but regardless, that detailing is really cool to see, especially down the legs as well. Then we have the feet, which again is probably my most gripey part of the figure. I do like the paint on the nails and the dew claw, which is something a lot of these Rexes haven't really had. But yeah, they look a bit too big. I don't know. I feel like she should be walking more on her toes as well, as opposed to her feet being this sort of flat and big. But I feel like they were just reusing perhaps an old mold of these from a different Rex maybe in the line or something like that. I don't know. Good paintwork and sculpt on her back here as well. That these sort of ridges are nice and prominent. Really cool. And then we come to the tail. Nice. I also feel that the proportions on her are a lot better than, say, this one here, the newer Fresh and whatnot Rex. The tail on this one seems way too small, whereas the head seems way too wide and big, whereas hers are far more accurate, which is nice to see. I'll probably have to spend quite a while comparing these two just off screen, and by the time I actually film my proper review of this one, I'll have a better sense of what I really want to say about her. But I might just leave it here with this unboxing for you guys. This has been a really cool figure to see in hand, and a pleasure to have been one of the first people to actually get her in hand. And I think I'm going to wrap it up here. There is definitely a lot more that I could go into with this Rex here and show her off in better detail, but I did promise myself that I was just going to keep this video to a quick unboxing and just give you guys a quick little taste of what this figure is like, just to basically get this video out there to you guys. And I will take some time to actually do a proper review in the next few days and give you guys probably a better look at her details and all that, and compare her to a few other figures. So stay tuned for that, and let me know your thoughts about this figure here and what you thought of the brand new Jurassic World film. I'm really curious about that, because I can definitely see it going both ways, where some people can probably have had a great time and some people can probably say that it's terrible and all that, and I kind of see where both of you guys would be coming from. So this will be interesting. So yeah, that is it for this unboxing. I'll see you guys in my future videos, but until then, may all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out. Bye.